Hello everyone, this is Fish, and welcome back to my channel. Today's movie is going to be in celebration of the upcoming sequel. Today's movie is Venom, the original Venom, and I really like this movie. I think more than I'm willing to admit. I'm a big fan of it, and I found that if with this movie you're either going to love it or you're gonna hate it. There's like no way around it. One or the other. That's it. All right, like either, that's what it means. You either love it or you hate it. And I'm just one of those people that really love it because here's the thing. I am a big fan of the actual Venom character. I've been a fan of him ever since I was 9. I've had a bit of a tumultuous relationship with the character, in the sense that, when I was a young child, this fucking thing scared the shit out of me. And I mean, who wouldn't be scared of this thing? I mean, it's a fucking giant goo monster that will bite your head off, right? That's scary as fuck. But over time, I actually looked into the character and I grew to love it more and more, and now I'm a huge fan of it. And so when I watched the movie, I was watching it in theaters and I was thinking, damn, this is actually pretty good. I thought it was really good for what it was. And that's what I want to touch on real quick. Is that there's a lot of ways to review a movie, but the main two ways you can look at it is, one, you could look at it from an objective standpoint, which is you take into account all the factors that make a good movie, theoretically, and then you look at it from an actual, personal, more humane standpoint, in the sense you look at it through the lens of, you just watching it for enjoyment and not for any other reason. And so, looking at Venom through these two different lenses, the results are quite different. Objectively, this movie has a lot of problems. It is not a good movie. It's actually really terrible. I think it's just above Catwoman levels of terrible. But if you look at it from, again, the more personal standpoint, I find that this movie is really, really fucking awesome. It's hilarious to watch. It's fun to look at. And I get that sometimes the visuals are kind of murky, things are hard to see, but okay, who's watching Venom for the fight scenes? Actually, who? Everyone just wants to see Eddie and Venom bicker at each other. That's the whole point of the fucking movie, and I'm so glad they're doing more with the sequel, because that's what it seems to be, is them just arguing for an hour and a half while simultaneously having to deal with a murderous symbiote creature. But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there as a bit of a disclaimer. So I want to touch on two things. The two main things this movie has to offer is the plot and the characters. Now, plot-wise, this movie is kind of a fucking mess. It's a bit hard to comprehend what is going on sometimes. So first of all, we start with, obviously, main character Eddie Brock. Well, we don't start with him. We get the symbiotes crash landing on Earth and their whole thing, but who really cares about that? It's all about Eddie Brock and Venom. So once we establish the symbiotes, we go to Brock, and the main problem with the plot and in general with, I guess, the character of Eddie is that he's just a fucking idiot. I mean, I don't know. I think that was kind of the point, if I'm being honest. Is yeah, he did dumb shit. That was the point of his character, is that he's kind of fucking stubborn and reckless and maybe a bit stupid. But it's so agonizing to watch him like walk into this interview and just fucking bomb the whole thing just because he wants to, I don't know, like get on a high horse. It's really infuriating. Like, if he really felt, and we know that he's not doing these things with ill intention. He's trying to make a difference. That's why he did it live on air. Or I don't know if it was live on air, but it might have, I don't know, it might have been recorded, might have been live on air, who knows. But what I can understand is that he's just a dumbass. That's it. Like, the entire character of Eddie is quite to anyone who said bless you when I sneezed there, thank you, just in advance. But as I was saying before, the whole character of Eddie is that he's a stubborn dumbass, and he's really honestly not very interesting to watch on his own. So the first 30 minutes of the movie, which is I think a good quarter or a good third of the movie, is genuinely some of the worst shit I have seen. It's so boring. It drags so hard. It's so fucking boring, right? We don't need to see all this shit. You could trim most of it down and you would still get the main plot points, right? Just give us more scenes of Venom and then trim the first third of the movie and replace all that shit with more Eddie and Venom. That's what I want to see if in this next movie, right? Furthermore, a lot of the characters other than Brock and Venom are just really boring. I mean, fucking did fucking Michelle Williams really have to be in this movie? Did he read Scott? I mean, what did those two do? I mean, they could have been replaced with absolutely fucking anybody. The only reason they had Michelle Williams as Anne Wang is because, I don't know, my comic books. And if anyone who's watching this doesn't understand what that means, basically, Anne Wang is Eddie Brock's wife from the comics, and that's the only reason she's in this movie. That's the only reason Michelle Williams is in this movie. Personally, if I had it my way, we would start this movie not at the moment, but we would start this movie with Venom and Eddie already bonded, personally. But that's not what happened, and I honestly don't mind that much. Because, I mean, yeah, fucking Michelle Williams and Reed Scott are useless. But, I mean, it's kind of made up by the fact that, fucking Tom Hardy is great in this. I mean, this entire movie might as well just be him talking to himself, because that's everything he did. It was him talking to a digitally altered voice of himself. I fucking love that. That is genius. It's so entertaining somehow. So yeah, plot, it kind of sucks. I mean, even after the first third, it just sucks in general. I mean, I don't like the Life Foundation in this movie because they had a lot of potential with it, in my opinion. Because the Life Foundation from the comics, I mean, they were kind of not a big deal, but they literally had 5 symbiotes at their disposal against one Venom, and I think that would have been cool to see. They even had the symbiotes in the movie. They just killed them off for God knows why, but whatever. And the ending, the ending was pretty decent, but the ending in the sense in the last third of the movie, I feel was kind of weak too. I mean, I think a lot of it stems from two things. Is that one, the plot is generally just confusing. I mean, yeah, the symbiotes want to take over Earth, but why do they want to take over Earth? What's wrong with their old planet? They don't explain that. Or why is there like a 6-month time skip? Why do symbiotes reject some of their hosts? Is it like why does that happen? I mean, that last one is a bit of a nitpick, I'll be honest, because it doesn't really need to be explained. But at the same time, I mean, we literally had like one of the symbiotes body swapping the entire movie. And you expect, like they say, symbiotes cannot bond with certain people, and the entire movie there's this one symbiote that's just bonding with everybody. You know, like, is it really, like, what is this plot? It's shit. That's what it is, I'll be honest. The characters are also mostly shit, save for Eddie and Venom, because they have really good fucking banter. Frankly, Eddie on his own is terrible. None of his solo scenes are good. Like, most of it's just Tom Hardy, like, muttering in, like, a Brooklyn accent, being like, oh, hey, you're a bad guy, Carlton. Like, I don't even know what that was, but it certainly, I think, in my opinion, it was a better Brooklyn accent than whatever fucking Tom Hardy was attempting. But yeah, considering all those things, I did still quite enjoy the movie. I really did like it. I think it was quite enjoyable. It holds a special place in my heart. And as much of a shitty movie as it is, I still love it. It's kind of like saying, I love you to a big steaming pile of shit, but it's my big steaming pile of shit. So, for Venom, on a scale of 1 to 10, objectively, it gets like a fucking 3. But, in my heart, 10 out of 10, baby.